The palace stands still. Cameras sharpen. Flags tremble against the morning breeze. Everyone expects a traditional welcome. A quiet royal greeting. A predictable procession. They are wrong. Because what begins as routine suddenly shifts. Queen Margrethe moves with a tenderness no one expected. Princess Leonor steps forward with a confidence the world has never seen. And what happens between them rewrites the emotional script of two kingdoms. Crowds swell outside the Copenhagen palace, their voices weaving into a single living river of anticipation. Spain's future queen arrives not as a distant heir, but as a young woman carrying history on her shoulders. Denmark's queen, seasoned, beloved, and nearing the twilight of her reign, prepares to welcome her with a warmth that feels almost ancestral. The air thickens with ceremony, but beneath it, something more intimate stirs. Leonor's motorcade glides into the palace courtyard. Cameras catch the soft rise of her breath, the steady determination in her eyes, and the quiet nervousness she tries to hide. This moment is more than symbolic. It represents trust between monarchs, a deepening of family ties, and a shared future between two royal houses whose histories stretch back centuries. As she steps out, the Spanish entourage straightens. The Danish guards tighten their formation. Yet all of that freezes the instant Queen Margrethe appears at the entrance. Her movements are slow, deliberate, almost ceremonial, but her expression betrays a spark of affection. To the world, she has always been a sovereign of iron elegance, but now she looks at Leonor with something closer to pride. Leonor approaches with a respectful bow of the head. Margrethe opens her arms, and in a gesture that shocks even seasoned royal watchers, the queen pulls her into an embrace. Not formal, not fleeting, a genuine, human connection. Gasps ripple through the courtyard. Cameras click like frantic birds. It becomes the moment that defines the day. The two royals hold each other for a heartbeat longer than protocol typically allows. Margrethe whispers something, and though microphones fail to catch it, Leonor's soft smile and glistening eyes betray its emotional weight. Whatever was said becomes the spark for global speculation. This is not just a welcome. This is a passing of emotional lineage. The entourage steps back instinctively, giving them space. It feels like watching a grandmother meeting her granddaughter, not two queens at opposite ends of their reigns. And that tenderness becomes the pulse of the day. They walk inside the palace together. Margrethe gestures toward the grand hall, where centuries of Danish artistry whisper from the walls. Leonor listens with a reverence that feels almost spiritual. Her footsteps echo with the soft rhythm of a woman fully aware that she is walking into her future. Inside, the royal families gather. The room carries a quiet tension, the kind that comes when traditions and modernity collide. Members of both courts observe Leonor closely. They want to know how she will fit into the intricate fabric of Nordic royal norms. And Leonor, in her poised silence, seems to weave herself in seamlessly. Margrethe introduces her to each dignitary, but the queen keeps a guiding hand lightly at Leonor's back, a gesture so gentle and protective that cameras zoom in again and again. Commentary online sparks instantly. Some call it mentorship, others call it symbolism. All agree it is unprecedented. A reception begins. Strings hum through the hall, mingling with murmurs of admiration. Leonor greets guests with a calm dignity beyond her years, yet there is also an honesty to her presence that draws people toward her. She is not performing royalty. She is growing into it. Every so often, Margrethe watches her from across the room with the eyes of someone imagining generations ahead. It becomes clear that this welcome is more than protocol. It is preparation. The story deepens when the two withdraw to a quieter room, a gallery lined with portraits of Danish queens. The cameras are allowed in briefly. The moment is intimate. Leonor studies each painting with a quiet awe. Margrethe explains how each woman shaped the kingdom, how leadership is a blend of discipline and heart, how the crown weighs heavier in the mind than on the head. Leonor listens intently, absorbing not just the words but the lived wisdom behind them. She asks questions, thoughtful questions, questions that reveal she is preparing not just for marriage, not just for a ceremonial role, but for the full responsibility of monarchy. The doors close. What is said inside remains private, yet the world senses its significance. A mentorship is born. When the women re-emerge, something in Leonor has shifted. Her posture straighter, her gaze sharper, her steps slower but more purposeful. Denmark has offered her more than hospitality. It has offered her clarity. Lunch is served in the grand dining hall. The long table glows beneath chandeliers that have witnessed centuries of alliances and unions. Today, they witness something gentler, the merging of wisdom and youth. Guests comment in hushed tones about Leonor's serenity, about the way Margrethe subtly guides conversations toward her, about the unspoken message threaded through the entire event: Spain's future queen is ready for her destiny. The tension builds as the two prepare for their first public address side by side. The courtyard fills again, flags wave, cameras lock in, voices hush. Margrethe steps forward first, her voice calm, regal, steady. She speaks of unity between nations, of shared values, of the beauty in passing traditions down to the next generation. Then she turns toward Leonor with a softness that melts the crowd. Leonor begins her speech. Her voice trembles slightly at first, then strengthens as she finds her rhythm. She speaks of gratitude, of the deep bond between their families, of her respect for Danish culture, of her hope for a future built on love, duty, and understanding. Her words wrap around the audience like silk. There is sincerity, vulnerability, and courage woven through every syllable. And when she finishes, the applause thunders through the palace walls. Later, during the private tea ceremony, Margrethe removes a small box from a velvet pouch. Inside rests an antique brooch. It belonged to a Danish queen who inspired generations. Without hesitation, Margrethe fastens it to Leonor's gown. Leonor's breath catches.